Don't let what's going on around you become what's going on within you. Hi, this is Dr. Anita with another Diamond Moment. The diamonds of our lives are produced through time, heat, and pressure. It is absolutely up to us to gather value from these experiences in life so that we can grow. We've been talking about 3D, 4D, and 5D. We've been talking about what happens in 5D, in coming to a place where we have gained some level of spiritual growth and development. We've talked about the fact that once you reach a level of growth and development in one area, it is not all encompassing, and it does not mean that you've reached spiritual growth and development in every area. So therefore, you may find yourself moving back and forth through these levels of understanding, of consciousness, and of growth. When we're looking at the 3D, looking at our lives here in this physical realm, when we're looking at the fact that we are spiritual beings having an experience through our bodies, the receivers, and the world around us, when we understand that we are connected by the source of all things, God, creator, source, the universe, we are all spiritual beings. We are all having the same experience. And therefore, it's necessary for us to be able to realize that what's taking place, we are observers of. What do you mean by that, Dr. Anita? Thank you for asking. It means that we are and have the ability to change the environment that we're in simply by the way that we perceive a situation, by the way that we interact within that energy in motion, within that emotion. All of that is to say this. Much of the world, and particularly where I live in the United States, are going through a lot of changes, a lot of things that are taking place. There is a school of thought that says if we are going to enter into a new system, then the old system has to die out and go away. And from a spiritual perspective, I do believe that that is very accurate, that we have to replace old systems of belief with the way that we believe now. However, those systems of belief don't all show up at one time in one place. Thus, the 4D level of understanding. So we see something in the 3D world, in this society, the worlds that we live in, and we question that. We say, well, that may have been the way things were then, but I don't believe that that is how it should be now, or what I want to participate in now, or how I feel about things now. And that may cause us to really look deeply within ourselves and our utilizing the spiritual gifts that we've been given, feeling what's taking place outside of us through the clairs, and then questioning what's taking place within me. How do I feel about whatever that particular situation might be? How do I feel about that within myself? That leading to, that's a belief that, I think I need to get rid of. That's no longer accurate for my life. It's no longer who I see myself as, nor is it someone that I want to be. And we have the ability at that point to make some substantial changes in our lives that can lead us to a different spiritual place. As I've expressed to you, that came about to a large extent as I began to look at the different ways in which man can be inhumane to other men. And when I looked at that, a group that I had formerly considered myself a part of, I realized, no, I'm not a part of that at all. That is not who I am. It's not who I choose to be. And thus, it enabled me to relinquish a piece of what I thought was my identity in order to embrace more fully what's much more accurate to who I am. And in releasing that former understanding, what I found is that I walked into an area of great freedom, of relief, of joy, and it set me free from where I once was. Okay, using that as a basis, many times it's necessary, as we know, to challenge those limiting beliefs, ideas, and concepts. And when we do that, we will come to a place, once we've gotten still, we've looked at what are my motives, what am I thinking, am I relying on this decision on something that I learned in the past, am I operating out of antiquated ideas and beliefs? And you can look and listen to other episodes with On a Diamond Moment and be able to come up with your understanding for yourself of different areas of your life that may very well need to be reevaluated so that you can remove antiquated ideas and move forward into that version of yourself that you have become. Becoming is a process, and the process has stages that much more accurately represents who you are today. Letting go of that old man, that old thing, and becoming something greater that did not exist prior to your having this questioning revelation of why, what is this? So we've talked about the fact that one small change can change everything. And as you're looking around and you're changing things, you may see even a greater level of change taking place, because now that you have relinquished this old idea, these old thoughts, you actually have room for new ideas, new ideals, and new thoughts. We've learned that you have to be willing to accept maybe concepts that at one point had challenged you. And it's not to say that they're right and you're wrong, but it's to be willing to look at it from a different perspective and determine, is this the right stance for me to take? When we're listening, when we're trying to determine what's best for ourselves, it's necessary, as we've been saying, to look within. If you had used an outside source to guide your life, and then you've determined that outside source is no longer appropriate or applicable for where I want to be, for who I am today, how I intend to grow, what I want to be, and now that old source doesn't represent me. People, in deconstructing former belief systems, can feel as though they're left without support. This is where looking within comes into play. When you're trying to determine, what do I believe now, since I no longer believe what I did, it's necessary to link your receiver, your body, into getting a different level of feedback and understanding to know what parts of this system need to be replaced and what parts of this system is still accurate. One thing that I can tell you that can be a guiding force for everything that you do is doing it within the spirit of love. If you are doing things moving forward in love and not retribution, not resentment, not lower vibrational emotions. But if you're doing it out of love, when you evaluate what's taking place within your heart, within your life, you're much more attuned to ending up in a place that is favorable to who you want to be at this time. Love is the basis of all things of a higher vibrational nature. So, disenfranchising others, being afraid of others, trying to remove or get rid of others is not operating from a position of love. Now, we understand that we have to use common sense. If someone is attempting to injure you, removing them from your life is a wise thing to do. So I'm not saying to just lay down and let someone do anything that they want to do to you out of a spirit of love, but being able to discern that spirit of a person and whether this is somewhere I should be or I should not be. In the United States, we're seeing a lot of changes within the system here, and many people have very strong emotions about those changes. What I would say to you is, don't lose your peace as you're watching what's taking place. One side of society in the United States of our population feels as though we need to get rid of these systems. Another side says those systems are in place for a reason, and I don't believe that we should. But what I want to take us to is a spiritual place in which an entire spiritual system that relies on fear and hatred and shame and retribution is actually being replaced by that system that relies on love and peace and gentleness and respect. And it is our responsibility as spiritual beings to keep our vibrations, that emotional level from which we function, as high as possible, because high vibrations are much more powerful than low vibrations. So, if you're looking at the news and it's causing you to become fearful, that may not be your assignment for right now. You may need to look inside and figure out, why am I becoming fearful, and then deal with that. Do some shadow work. If looking at what's taking place right now does not cause you to become fearful, you may need to look within and say, what can I do to assist? Whether that is, as we were saying, the resistance, making a decision on what I will accept, what I won't accept, what I want to have and what I don't want to have, and moving forward within that framework. If you feel called as a worker of light to add your voice to that which strengthens and enlightens and lifts in those areas of love and joy and peace, then this is your moment to do that. But always remember that everybody is going through a different level of consciousness. Some are waking up. Some have just begun their journey. Others have been on it for a while. Some are just learning new terminology to the places that they've always been. And no matter where you are in this sequence of becoming is a process, and that process has stages. We have to also act with love towards others, even when we don't agree, because just like at one place in our lives, we thought one thing and now we think another, we have to be willing to be patient with others as they grow. Even the people that we are so diametrically opposed to the way that they think, the way that they operate, and the way that they move. Our challenge is not to allow the negative and the negativity of life to enter in to our positivity and bring us down. Keep your vibration high. Keep your beliefs high. Keep your thoughts high. And therefore, you will lift the collective vibration of the world to that which is most akin to where you want to be. I've spoken in this way because there's an expression that says, in seeing, they will not understand. Okay? And many things are being done in a way that allows communication, but in a way that everybody doesn't understand. If you know, you know. If you get it, you get it. Stay with me. We're going to continue moving forward. We're looking at our lives. We're looking at becoming as a process which has stages. And I would definitely recommend getting your Diamond Journey Journal. And let's move through this great period of change, making a determination on what we want to have, what we prefer in our lives, and then plan to do that. If you haven't done so, please join me on NoomVibe. I just completed a new live, which you can get there, that kind of explains where I've been and what's been taking place in my life. So those that would like to know, download the NoomVibe, which is free app, and go to @DrAnitaMc, and you'll find me, and become a part of that community. For those that would like to, you can join me on FanBase, and please visit my website at www.DrAnitaMc.com. That's DrAnitaMc.com. And above all, join me next week.